Welcome, guys, to another episode of the High Performance PT Academy podcast. I am your host, Tony Pang, and guys, we have another exciting guest, and obviously the podcast is to really highlight and showcase individuals like yourself who are listening to the podcast that can take inspiration and motivation from like-minded people that have went through the journey that you ultimately might go on yourself, and showcase what that's like, the emotions, the feelings, and hopefully you can get some value from that. And ultimately, if that allows you to take those steps yourself, to turn your passion into a career, that's ultimately what the podcast is all about. So today we've got Ian, and we're going to go into his own story. Obviously, there is a few of you out there that are stuck in the predicament of you're doing two jobs at the moment, maybe a job that ultimately you don't like, and being a PT, being an online coach is something that you've always thought about, but it's not necessarily something that you've been able to take action on, whether it's fear or the security of your job. So I think for anybody in that position, you're going to get a lot of value from just listening to Ian and what he's got to say. So Ian, how are we?
No bad, mate, no bad. How are you?
Good. So today, give the guys a wee bit of insight as to basically where were you before the academy?
So basically, before the academy, I was working for an oil and gas company.
Okay.
Still in that position now, but started in there when I was 17.
Okay.
Basically, I left school to work in a gym, but that fell through. So the plan was to work in the gym and get my qualifications at the same time. Left school and that fell through, and the guy said, I can't take you on, so that was me stuck. My ex's parents, they worked in an oil and gas company, joined up there and been there ever since. So
okay, so obviously that was a job, right? Did you see that as your future career, or was that just something to tide you by?
Nah, it's gave me a decent life so far, but it's not something I want to do the rest of my life. Like, for example, this year alone, I don't think I could have done any more, like in terms of changes. I've get married, I'm moving house, I'm going to be 30 in December, so I said to myself, if I don't do this now, I'm not going to do it. So
yeah, 100%. So give us a wee bit of insight. Why did you want to become a personal trainer? Why did you want to become an online coach?
Well, basically, when I was 17, my dad passed away, and I was basically just trying to fill my time with anything and everything, and the gym was one of those things. I didn't think too much of it. I was just there basically to fill an hour and a half to take my mind off what had happened.
Yep.
But gradually I grew to love it, and that love grew into a passion, and basically it's been a huge part of my life for so long.
Yeah.
And I love helping people, so why not combine the two? And now is the right time, and we'll speak about it, but the reason I joined up with yourself was I thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it properly.
Yeah.
And I'm not wanting to make any, I'd rather learn off somebody that's been 14 years in the industry, knows the industry inside out, and learn for the best. So,
and obviously most PTs and most coaches, there is events in their past that's brought them to the gym, and obviously for me, using that gym as a source of, right, I can go there, clear my head.
Aye.
I can give myself a wee bit of breathing space. All the stress, all the worries, all the panics and things that life throws at you, for that 1 hour in the gym, it's just about you.
Aye.
You can calm the storm, you can get your shit together and just give you that wee bit of breathing space, and then from there you go back into the world, and 9 out of 10 times you can deal with more stress than you could before.
Yep.
Just a wee bit of release. So we've all been there, and we all know what that feeling's like, of having that great session, turning a bad day into a good day.
Yep.
Know what I mean? Just giving you that way to de-stress. So from there, obviously, did you see PT or online as a career, or did you just see it as, do you know what, I like helping people? And
I did see more the PT side of it as a career, but I didn't know too much in terms of online.
okay,
I thought that is something I could do, and I don't know, it's one of the ones where I was comfortable, and that's maybe why I never took the jump earlier.
yeah,
But now this year, it's crazy. Like, I spoke to you I think I first spoke to you in the start of June.
yeah,
I think it was
before
like
you get married.
a week and a half before I get married. So I think it was 3 days after I spoke to you. my current work announced that there were going to be redundancies at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is just kind of falling into place here. So spoke to yourself. First thing I did was, let's see how this goes, and if it goes to plan, then I'll apply for a redundancy at the end of the year.
And so obviously for most people, I guess for me, I've done online coaching since 2010, and so I would say that online coaching has only really been something big and something that has far more impact. And probably COVID, I said when COVID hit, I think the online market boomed. I think that it became something that people could do to then something that people had to do.
Yep.
Because how else were you going to make money? You couldn't go into a gym when all the gyms were closed. Unless you wanted to PT outside, weather dependent. Online was the avenue that most people had to go. And that's when I saw the boom that a lot of PTs said, look, I know how to be a good PT. I don't really know how to make this transition to online. I don't know how to make it work. It's a total different ball game. And so that's when it kicked off for me. And that's when now I feel as though online is huge.
Yep.
The online market is huge. I mean, how many people are in the world? And the biggest difference between being a PT and being an online coach is ultimately your time. Is how many people can you help with 50 hours of your time doing one-to-ones? Or how many people could you help on an online platform? Potentially 50, 60, 70, 80, 100, 150, 200.
Yep.
As big as your company, brand, service wants to be, is you could help people, as many people as you want. And ultimately you can help people from all over the world, which is a unique experience to just then only being able to help people that could travel to your gym in your local area.
Aye.
And so for me, it was like the opportunities were huge. I'd done it for so long. There was challenges, there was trials and errors, and the things that I said, oof, that didn't really work. I wouldn't do that again if I was to. And I said this to so many PTs, if I knew what I knew now, I wouldn't have made all the mistakes that I had to make to get to the position I'm in now. And this is where the academy comes in, where you can make all the mistakes. Like, honestly, it's took me 18 years to get to the point I am right now. You can make all the mistakes, but if I had the opportunity, I'd rather not make the mistakes or little mistakes and get there in the next 18 months. 18 years, 18 months.
Exactly.
Life-changing stuff. And so it's been exciting for me. And obviously with you guys coming on board, we always say as long as you've got the passion, why do you want to get into the industry? Most people, we want to help people, impact, change their lives. And from there, as long as you know why you're in this, why you want to do it, the income is a benefit of it. Whereas if you're focusing on the income, you lose the concept of why you're doing this in the first place. You know what I mean? So you reached out, obviously, you wanted to get into this industry, and we've heard this so many times from a lot of new PTs. It's like, when I get into this, I want to do it right. I want to know what to do, how to do it, and that's it, implement. And I think that that's how most of you guys are probably at least 2 years ahead of most new PTs. What you've achieved, which we'll talk through, what you've achieved in such little time, some PTs don't achieve in 2 years. They'll still try to figure things out. They'll still try to work out the structures and work out clients and work out the systems and processes that we just take for granted just because it's like, here you go, Ian. This is how to do it. This is how to manage it. And this is how to scale it and grow it. And that's been exciting. So obviously you reached out, we got you on board. And I always say is as long as we get that vibe where it's going to be an exciting journey, which I got off of you, I was like, big things are going to happen. So let's fast forward. So you're in the academy and it's like, Tony, I'm getting married right now. So maybe let's just focus on getting married. And then when I get back, head down.
So probably the most awkward timing. Like a week, by the way, a week and a half before the wedding, I want to join this academy, and you're kidding me, honestly. I can't wait. So I had to get in touch with you before that. So I think when we spoke, we kind of got things a wee bit up and running, but it said, if you've got this in place, after you come back, then we can actually launch it. So
at that point, you've came on board now, and obviously you're still working your other job. So how is it managing?
It's been a bit crazy, but and hectic. But every time you speak to me, I'm buzzing off it and I'm loving it. And now we know that that's only for the short term that I'm going to be there as well. So
So what did you feel like you didn't know that you needed to know to get you to where you are now?
Basically, I was kind of in there starting from scratch. I love training. I loved helping people. The online was the perfect way for me to go. because I still had a job.
Yep.
And basically how to start that from scratch, how to market yourself,
Yep.
The systems to put in place,
Yep.
anything you can into training, what I can offer, to go over the full process for me to be able to offer that to someone.
So your social media,
Yep.
your diet plans, your training plans, accountability check-in process, payments, everything.
Yep.
And so we get all that in place, we build it up, which obviously you put that time together. And by the time we launched, and it's been 8 weeks,
Yep.
I would say.
Yep.
It's been 8 weeks since you launched, and you're now went from 0
Yep.
to what, 16 clients is what you said to me
Yep.
this morning.
Yep. 16 confirmed yesterday. Aye.
So up to 16 clients, which is just roughly off the top of my head, it's about 8 grand
Yep.
in 2 months.
Yep. Yep.
Pretty quick.
Aye, so the best way to describe it is I was off, I think, middle of July. I think we launched the programme 15th of July,
Yep.
roughly just after that. And I was off my work for 2 weeks. And to put it into perspective, those 2 weeks I was off, I had doubled my monthly wage in roughly 10 days.
Yep.
So that's how you put it into perspective.
And that gave you an insight as to what life could be like
Yep.
in the future.
Yep.
Because I think I get this all the time, even from probably my own parents, that from the older generation, having an online business, it's like, maybe you should get a real job. How can you make money being at a laptop, being at a computer?
Yep.
And because we live in an era now where you're selling your knowledge and experience, and at the end of the day, clients are coming to you to transform their lives. Like, what value could you put in that realistically?
Yep.
If somebody's not happy, if somebody's not confident, if somebody's not feeling good within themselves,
Yep.
their relationship, their work suffers, their family life suffers, they suffer.
Aye.
Yeah, is that we can change all of that.
Aye. And as soon as you start feeling better about yourself, it's a domino effect on absolutely everything you've got in your life.
And I don't think anybody can put a price on that. So for me, it's selling your knowledge, selling your ability to transform that client's life. And we all know this, because you'll know this as well. It's not just physical.
Nah.
You've got that mental aspect.
Yep.
Know what I mean?
Definitely.
And from there now, so obviously you've had a wee insight into that. Where do you see? Obviously, you've got it's been pretty quick.
Aye. Aye.
to put it blunt, it's been pretty quick to get you to where you are now. Where do you see yourself in the future now? Because obviously you've got short term, you've still got your work. It's going to be a bit crazy managing your business and 2 jobs with your time management. And I guess this probably follows on to, I would say to most people that were in your position,
Yep.
is that if you've got a plan A and plan B in which you're saying, right, I've got a job to fall back on, so if this doesn't work, then I've always got that.
Yeah.
For me, you never really give the online coaching or your PT or whatever 100% because you can't.
Yep.
Because it's always going to be down to, well, I need the security and I need the income, so I'm not willing to take the risk.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. For you, what made you take the risk?
I think time's going on. I'm going to be 30 in December. And how long am I going to say I should have done this 5 years ago? I should have done this 6. I should have. The time for me to make the jumps now, and it's been proven that it can be done, and I'm making it work. So, I should have done it a while ago, but the main thing is we're doing it now. So,
and obviously for you, and we spoke, the point. Well, what gave you the most confidence was you were listening to the podcast from the Academy from others.
So, to put it into perspective, I was in my work, listening to the podcast, my headphones, finishing my work, heading home, watching an episode on YouTube before the gym.
Yeah.
I was like, basically, I messaged my missus after watching, I think it was Stephen it was on.
Yeah.
Quite a similar position to myself, no happy in his job, didn't want to do it long term.
Yeah.
And I watched that, I messaged Sam and I said, I know what I want to do and I'm going to get in touch with this guy. So,
and that was probably daunting for her.
Aye, it probably was, especially a week and a half for the wedding. But I says to her, I'm all in with it. It's not going to be something that I'm going to take half-heartedly. Whatever needs to be done is going to be done to make it a success. So,
and I think because your wife is self-employed as well,
yep.
that mindset that, do you know what, like working for yourself, having that own time management of your days, your times, your hours, your income, your effort,
Yep.
your energy is all back for you
Yep.
and her and your family. You know what I mean? So she probably gets it from that perspective that, you know what, without any risks, there is no return.
Yep.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
definitely.
And for me, it was probably more of a calculated risk, because it's like, well, I'm listening to others that have done what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, how many people do you want to listen to? 5, 10, 15,
Aye.
20, 30. It's like, you could listen to as many people as you can or want to, but when do you actually ever take action? Because the risk is always going to be the same. I spoke to a PT earlier about how he's a PE teacher, does another job similar to yourself, wants to take the plunge, but he's like, it's a bit risky because I've got a job right now that gives me financial security. So I get paid, not what he's worth, but he gets paid and it gives him security. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, there's always going to be a bit of risk, but at the end of the day, being self-employed, you manage your own risk, because whatever you put into this, you get out.
I feel as if as well what that security sometimes holds you back if you're doing it as well, because that's part of the reason I never really made the jump. I didn't know how to, but I was comfortable and I thought, well, things are going okay. But actually that redundancy being offered at the end of the year, I went, well, now's the time to let's get things going. So.
And you talked about this, comfort zones.
Yep.
A lot of people, the 9 to 5, the job, it is the comfort zone.
Yep.
And we always say is like, I heard this saying before, where it's like a job is like just over broke, where it's they're paying you enough just to do the job, just to stay there, to feel secure, to make somebody else money with your time, your energy, and your effort.
Yep.
When I'm like, guys, you could be doing this yourself.
Aye.
Know what I mean? And you could be taking something that you love, taking something that you're interested in. You could have more impact, because at the end of the day, I can't think of that many jobs that have as much client fulfillment or self-satisfaction on helping somebody else feel, look better for themselves. Mm-hmm. Like, where else do you get that feeling? You know what I mean? So you get job satisfaction, which is for me a huge, massive win. We show you how to create that financial stability. So you've got income coming in. You know what I mean? We're then looking at your own personal development. You're looking after yourself.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So what more, I always say, is what more else do you want from your life?
Aye.
You know
No,
what I
it's
mean?
definitely been, I get a wee glimpse of what life's going to be like, hopefully. When I was off for the 2 weeks, and I think I was messaging you every a couple of days, another sign up, I was couldn't be more buzzing. So get a wee glimpse of what life hopefully is going to be like soon. So
in the long term, Ian, do you see yourself incorporating PT, or do you feel as though
it's a possibility? I'm doing my level 3 now. That wouldn't be till 2023 if it was going to happen. But I'm open to the idea of that. But right now, I'm loving everything purely online. I'm loving everything that comes with it. But I'm open to the idea. Aye.
I feel like there is pros, there is cons to both industries or both services, and I feel like obviously with your missus being self-employed, and I said this to you before, you get to work the days and times that suit you. So technically, when she's working, when she's busy, you could work, you could be busy. When she's off, you could be off. Mm-hmm. That is a huge flexibility, again, PT and online. But the main thing for a lot of us is being able to go on holiday, being able to take breaks, is you can take your business with you.
Yep.
Whereas if you're doing one-to-one PT, you're only necessarily getting paid when you're doing the hours.
Aye.
So I think that I love personal training, and I think that it's a fantastic career. It's got pros and it's got cons, and we always say is pick the career path that fits in with your life. What do you want? Yep. Some PTs love traveling. Yep. Some PTs prefer, do you know what? I like the in-person interaction. Yep. And there's not one is better than the other. Yep. There's what one gives you the life that you want.
Yep. So I'm probably leaning towards staying fully online. Mm-hmm. Partly because I do want more time with my family, and I've done like every shift under the sun, like day shift, night shift, back shift, 12-hour shifts, you name it, working Saturdays and Sundays, I've done every shift. So more time is what I'm after with my family, and obviously that's the plan.
Yeah, and I think now that probably you've made a lot of these, you've taken the plunge, you've made a lot of this risk a reality now, is that obviously you're probably a lot more confident with your decision making and where things are going to go. We know that there's with your other job as well, that is going to be coming to an end. So it all is going to be kind of flourishing when, I would say for most people, the busiest time of year for most PTs or coaches is probably going to be at the start of the year. Yep. You're going to have January, new me, new you, what making you start to my life. After that, we've got people booking holidays, getting in shape for holidays, and I think you've got a huge run of events to come up when the redundancy's over, and actually you get all the time you're putting into your full-time job now into your coaching, which
that's something I kept saying to you every time I spoke to you. I've only had that 8 extra hours, I've only had this, so it's going well so far, but
there's so much more,
and like, I could have been doing a lot more with those 8 hours, so hopefully going to have that soon.
So obviously for yourself, right, you've took a lot of value from listening to others on the podcast, and you've been able to see glimpses of the risk you took and ultimately how your life's changed. I mean, the only thing I would say is, for a lot of people listening, the key thing I would say that's probably holding most people back is probably the initial investment.
Yep.
So you've got the risk is that if I invest in this, is it going to work? Mm-hmm. So there's a bit of fear.
Yep.
How long did it take you to make that money back?
I think it was something like 4 days.
Yeah, and I would say the common theme for most of the PTs, if you have listened to the podcast, guys, is I would say the longest it's taken somebody to make their initial investment back has probably been the first month.
Yep.
And I would say that on average, it's probably going to be within 7 days.
Yep.
On average.
I feel as well that it's going to probably cost you more in the long run.
Yeah.
Because I think the first time I spoke to you, I said I want to do it right and learn for the kind of mistakes that you might have made early on. The do's and the don'ts, cut all that away and tell me.
Yeah, I guess what you said, spending 2 years trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time wasted.
Yep.
It's a lot of time, it's a lot of errors, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I've spent my full career getting to where I am now by having coaches, by doing courses, by reaching out to people that are further ahead on the journey and are where I want to be. Because then I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm trying to say, how did you get to that position? What can you teach me that I don't know, so that I can replicate that?
Yeah, 100%. Aye.
And that's the whole job. All of this is to get further ahead, so that maybe what might have taken you a full lifetime to build your career and your retirement or whatever, is you've slashed that, you've accelerated that process.
Yep. It's just about humbling yourself and saying, if somebody knows more in that industry, then reach out to them and learn for their experience. So
I always say, if I knew what I knew now back when I started, it'd be a completely different ballgame. But then I had to go through the mistakes and the learning to get to that point. So what would you say to somebody who is watching or listening, who is in your shoes? Potentially they are doing a job right now that they're not necessarily that passionate about. Again, they're kind of relying on it. They are looking for a way out. They are looking for something else different to do. Or even somebody that's, I would say that a PT right now that's probably struggling, who said, look, I've had to go get a part-time job.
Yep.
And they'll probably now have that plan B, that if the PT doesn't work, I've got this other job there. Like, what would you say to somebody in that position?
100% reach out to yourself, because the first consultation call we spoke and you were saying this and this will happen, and I was like, I can believe it, but until it actually happens, that's when you fully believe. But I definitely, what you get taught in the academy, I don't really see you getting that anywhere else.
Yep.
And as we've previously spoke, I can already see a wee difference, maybe the stuff that I know already compared to maybe one or two others that I know. So, and that's purely just been down to yourself, working with yourself and everyone that's involved. So it's accelerated what I know. It's accelerated anything business-wise.
Yeah.
So definitely get in touch.
And I think that we have spoke about that actually, with the standard of PT is like, I've done my 6-week course, I'm on the gym floor, that's it.
Yeah.
So you don't really get taught how to build a business. You kind of get taught the basics on biomechanics, muscles and movements and ligaments and bones and tendons, and you know enough about nutrition, but apart from that, you don't really know how to get clients, you don't really know how to build a business, you don't know how to actually deliver a service that is going to stand out from the crowd. And you've saw this from PTs that have probably been doing this maybe 2 years, 3 years, 4 years longer than you, and yet you can already distinguish what the differences are. You know what I mean? Right away. And these are things that should be basic or common knowledge, but it's things that people don't do. You know what I mean? That ultimately make the difference. Our job is to change clients' lives. We don't want to leave it by chance. We want to make sure we've got facts and figures and data, and we want to back up exactly what we say to give clients exactly what they want. You know what I mean? People will always leave you when you don't deliver.
Aye.
You know what I mean? And a lot of PTs might say, well, they're paying for PT, so I don't really do the diets, or I don't know much about dieting, so I'll just tell them to eat clean or whatever it is, and little things, or they don't give them a diet plan, or they charge them more for the training plan. And I'm just like, the PT is more than just the pushing somebody in person really hard in the gym because they don't want to be there.
Yep.
It's everything. It's the full package. You know what I mean? It's really educating, communicating, supporting your clients through times of struggle and need. When clients are doing well, they don't need you. When clients aren't doing well, they need you to reassure them, give them that clarity, certainty. Exact same as when you're going for your business and you're like, Tony, I don't know what I should be doing here with this client, or what should I be doing this with this content, or what should I say or do? You're unsure. So we can give you that reassurance, that clarity. You're going to give it 100 more %.
Aye.
And then the results are a lot faster.
Yep.
And pushing you out your comfort zone. I'm sure I've pushed you out your comfort zone more than you would have pushed yourself out your comfort zone.
100%, but that's the only way you're going to grow in it, is out your comfort zone. You're not going to grow in your comfort zone, are you? So,
yeah.
Aye, definitely.
And so, why would you recommend? Because obviously you've been through the academy now, so you saw from yourself, you saw from others. Why would you recommend the academy to somebody else?
Basically, even if you're maybe a bit experienced PT wise, already doing it, or if you're already an online coach, or if you're like me, completely starting from scratch, you can tailor that to everybody. And whatever you want to achieve, if you want to grow and scale your business, or if you're like me, you want to start from scratch and learn as much as possible, it'll work for everybody, and it's been proven to work for everybody that's been part of it. So,
and one thing going back, that we had a conversation about this in the call, and it just kind of flashed back to me. So I feel like one of the biggest things that will make you a huge success is belief and confidence.
yep.
And obviously when you started to see this, your belief and confidence grew tenfold.
Aye.
Like, it was like, my God, this is actually happening.
Yeah.
And we had one of the conversations before you came on, and I said, look, with your current job, I said, look, realistically, I have targets in my head as to what PTs should be offering. I have levels and services that PTs between 4 and 5k a month, or 5 or 10, or 10 to 15, or 15 to 20, whatever level they want to take it. And I said to you, so what do you want to aspire to? What do you want to achieve? And you said, Tony, I would just like to make what I'm making now, but doing something I enjoy.
Aye.
And I kind of laughed and was like, right, okay, but it's so small.
Aye.
Especially when I said to you, look, let's say it was like £2,000. Like, that's a drop in the ocean from where you're going to go with your business.
Aye.
And I feel as though just after that conversation, and after we'd spoke and talked about what we're going to do in the framework and what others have done already, is that target that you had in your head, you said, I'm probably going to change my mind after this. And I'm like,
I think I changed after 4 days. So, but that's obviously,
that was belief.
it's belief, and that belief only increases once you actually see it in reality. But obviously I did believe, that's obviously why I got in touch with myself, I backed myself, but until you see it happening, maybe that starts to grow, and then so that changed very quick.
And you took action.
Yep.
Because you've also said this as well. You can do the reading, you can listen, you can do whatever you want, you can study till your heart's content. And I always hear PT saying, I'll wait till it's perfect. I'll wait till I know more. I'll wait till I've got this in place. Maybe I've got a website. Maybe I've got an app. Maybe I've got this and this and this. And I'm like, why don't you just start?
Aye.
Why don't you just start? And you did.
Yeah, it's a hectic time, obviously, to start. Wedding, moving house, and throw this into the mix, leaving my job as well. So, but you're right, it's just start, and who knows what can happen. So,
and who knows what can happen. And the time and the effort and everything is in your hands. And that's why I said, just do it, see what happens, because I know that the more you do this and the more experience you gain, for me, it's like, it's only not going to work if you don't try.
yeah.
That's the only time it's not going to
I
work.
think a lot of my mates are similar positions as myself. Like, in jobs, maybe they don't really like and don't really want to be there long term, but they've always got that maybe wee bit of doubt, maybe, and maybe that was me at one point as well, saying, I'll be okay, would it work, would it not work? sometimes you just got to say, listen, I'm just going to go for it. And the worst that's going to happen is it's not going to work out, but who knows, it might. So
I say the worst thing that's going to happen, say if it doesn't work, go back to doing what you were doing.
Yep, exactly.
Because you've done that your whole life anyway.
Aye.
So go back to what you were doing.
Yep.
But for me, if you've got that mindset that it's not going to work, it probably won't.
Aye, definitely.
Know what I mean? And I would say that being self-employed, running your own business, having this long-term vision and dream and drive, it isn't for everyone. I 100% get that. Some people are definitely made for this. Mm-hmm. And some people like just having that security and like just being like, do you know what? I work, I do a job, I get paid. And that's totally fine, 100%. But for the ones that know there's more,
yep,
I'm like, you need to grab that opportunity.
I've always felt I could do it, and there is more. I don't want to just be there the rest of my life and look back when I'm 50 or 60 thinking I should have made the jump. So nah, you need to go for it.
Yeah, and I hear this all the time, that if you need to fail, you need to try, you need to fail, you need to try, you need to change it, you need to rectify that. You're going to fail at a lot of things, but see, if you never tried, you're never going to change anyway. And you only need one thing to work for your whole life to completely change. And the main difference for you guys is that I failed at a lot of things and I done all the things wrong. And I'm just saying to you guys, look, let's just fast track all of this. This is going to be more efficient. It's more proven to work. This is the things you kind of need to do.
Aye.
Makes less of the mistakes, so then you can just get a lot more of the benefit quicker, faster, easier, rather than doing all the stuff that ultimately I had to do in order to learn all the stuff that I know now. But Ian, it's been amazing. Hopefully, guys, you have been able to listen to Ian, take some value, take some information from there that you might be in the similar same shoes as himself. And hopefully that can give you a wee bit of drive, a wee bit of inspiration, that if you are somebody that is in his position, that your life can change if you're willing to take that wee bit of small risk and you know what you want. You know that training, fitness, being a PT, being an online coach, it has been a dream or something you've thought about, not quite sure how. Is for me, as long as you know why you want to do this, it's not for the money, it's more for the impact and the reason. The money will come. I always say, if you're good at something, is the money will come. Always. And if you're good at something, you deliver an amazing service, you change people's lives, and that is your job, is there's no better feeling. And you'll spend more time, more effort, more energy doing something for your life that you love. And that will reap the rewards and success itself. So guys, for anybody that wants to reach out to Ian or go follow him, Ian, where will people find you?
On Instagram, we are at Baird Fitness 92.
So guys, please remember, if there's anybody out there that you feel like would get value from this, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if there's anything that ultimately you'd love to hear from myself in the channel, then please leave a comment and we'd be more than happy to build out the content and flesh it out to provide you guys more value, give you more inspiration, motivation, tips and advice to allow you to take that leap in that journey to become, ultimately build that successful career and business that is going to give you the lifestyle that you've always wanted. Guys, I will speak to you on the next episode.